Hello everyone. We're going to make a quick video to show you how to use a tire machine. So I have here, this is the spare tire from my 2018 F-150. It's a steel wheel and I don't want to have that anymore because it's going to rust eventually. So I'm going to put it on this extra aluminum wheel that I have. It's left over from my old F-150. The bolt pattern is the same, same diameter wheel, so it should just go right back up once we get this tire swapped over.
First step always is to remove the valve out of the valve stem. That way air can escape from the tire. And then we're going to use this right here. This is called a bead breaker. All we want to do is separate the bead from the actual tire. Since it's been on there for so long, it'll be stuck. You need to get it down off of the bead that holds it there. So you're just going to go around the tire a few times, clamping it until it pushes past the bead, which you can actually see on this tire, on this wheel, is going to be in here. And then once you've got one side broken loose, you'll spin it around and then you'll pop the bead off of the other side. Now before we start, I want to explain this machine. So most machines have either 3 or 4 pedals on them. This right here, this on the top, this is your tabletop. It's what clamps. It'll either clamp going outward or going inward. So you've got your pedals down here, right? On this machine there's 4. Most machines have 3 or 4. Now starting on the left, this right here, this is what fills your tire using the supplied air hose. And if you push this down, it blows air out of it. What it'll also do if you push it down past the detent that's there is you've got these little air nozzles right here, and that'll shoot air out to try to fill the tire, which would help you in seating the bead. So then you've got this other one right here. This second pedal is like a toggle switch. If you press it down, it'll open up and it'll clamp your wheel. Same thing if you're going the other way. You push it the other way, it'll open up and clamp your wheel. Then you've got this one right here. This is for your bead breaker. So it's the third pedal, and if you watch this, it'll pull that cylinder in and it'll clamp. There we go. That's very dusty. But then your fourth pedal, you either push it down or lift it up with your toe. You can go that way, you lift it up with your toe, it goes the other way. Very simple. Now, on this particular machine, there's one more thing, or well, I guess technically 2 more things. There's this up and down arm. You can go up and down with this one. It's got this arm, which is extremely useful in pressing down one side of the tire so that you don't have to fight with 2 different tire irons or tire spoons, whatever you want to call it.
Really useful for low profile tires too.
Yes, if you're doing low profile tires, you're going to want something like this. And then this other one's just kind of an extra one. It's pretty cool in that if you're trying to dismount a tire, you're always trying to push the tire spoon down through to the second bead and keep it on there and then lift it up. What you can do is have this lift the other tire, the other side up. And I'll show you guys that when we get to it. So we're just going to go around and finish popping this bead on this extremely dusty tire. The cool thing about doing tires on trucks is that they're much larger sidewalls. They're much easier to do because that sidewall has a lot of give. It doesn't fight you. Like Billy said, the low profile tires, those are the ones that are going to be terrible. Alright, so you have 2 options with tires depending on whether it's steel or aluminum. So if it's a steel wheel, you have the option of clamping from inside out. You've got these jaws, right? This side right here has these very sharp teeth. If it's a steel wheel, it's not going to cause a whole lot of damage, but it will hold that steel wheel very well. But if you've got an aluminum wheel, you're going to want to clamp from the outside in, which means you have to have your bead broken in order to do that. So that you can have these jaws, when they go from outside in, these actually catch the wheel from the outside and they clamp into it like this. Alright, so we're going to put the deeper side down. This would be the face of the wheel. And then since we're doing a steel, remember we're going to clamp it from the inside out. When we do that one, we'll clamp it from outside in and show you that other way. So you're going to push the clamp button, and you want to make sure these clamp evenly, and then that it's nice and tight on there. So now we're going to swing this out of the way. We don't need this right now. You're going to take your tire spoon, and you're going to take this over. So this is going to be your mount, dismount. This is going to be your head, right? So it's a specialized shape. This one is plastic. Some of them are metal. They have different designs. This one is the cheapo Amazon one. We've gone through a few of them. So you're going to push it down until it's right over that edge of that bead of that wheel, and then you're going to clamp this. That keeps it from going up and down. So now we're going to take this arm right here. The idea is that I'm going to stick this in here, grab the edge of that bead right there, and I'm going to pull it. We want this side to go under the bead of the wheel. There is a valley down in there that this bead of this tire can go into. On every wheel, it's got a valley, and you can actually see it on that wheel right there. The valley is up closer towards the spokes right there. So if I need it, so this is where I can start to use this helping hand right here. But before I actually take it off, I want you guys to pay attention to the TPMS. Now this car, or this tire, since it is a spare tire, it doesn't have a TPMS sensor coming off of the stem of the tire. Most modern vehicles, they'll have a TPMS sensor, something like this, sticking off, and this will be hanging out right there in the valley of the wheel. You want to make sure you don't break that off, because they are expensive and sometimes it's very hard to program them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this either way until it is pretty much right here, right behind this thing, so that when I pry this bead over and have this pushed down just a little bit to hold it down in that valley, as I stretch this bead, I'm already bringing this bead up over top of that sensor. It's completely clearing it. That way the bead completely misses the back side where the sensor is. So now that it's like this, I'm just going to go ahead and rotate this, and I'm going to hold this down in here to keep a little bit of tension on it so that it pulls this off, just like that. So now once you're halfway as far as pulling this off, you can take this up out of your way, and now you can even pull this out and you can keep going. So now that's half of your tire removal job. Now this is where this comes in hand. We've got this thing right here. It can help to either dismount or at least hold the tire. So we're going to bring it down and just kind of swing it in, and I'm going to bring it up just a little bit, and it can hold the tire up there for me while I work on getting. You have to bring this tire spoon down in, and if you see right here, this head, every time you're going in like this to grab and pull it up over, this is the head that you're prying against. That way you're not prying against your actual wheel. So for the second half of the tire, you need to go down, and you can actually reach under and find the you can find the bead down there. Sometimes it's difficult, so since I need the tire up more, I'm going to lift this up, then I'll hold this other side, and you can usually look down and see it, and you can feel it with your hand right there. So then you're going to have to lift the whole tire up until you can pry that over. And if you look down in here, see what it looks like down in there. I've got it pried over, and now I'm going to go ahead and start spinning this one too. But I have to keep pressure on that bead holding it up. And that one didn't work. So now I'm going to go jump out of a boat into a lake, with some cinder blocks tied to my legs. All right, so I've rotated a little bit. It just popped down off of this, but we're still holding pressure. It's still up above this head. It has to stay above that head long enough for this bead to get stretched a little bit. See? Now that's done, we can undo this. Move this out of the way. And that's how we dismount a tire. Now Billy's going to show us how we remount the tire, but on an aluminum wheel. So
here's the wheel we're going to put the tire onto. I have it sitting inside the jaws, so when I step on them, it clamps from the outside in.
Now before we mount it, this is always a very good time for you to take a wire wheel on a drill, and you can clean up. This is where the bead seats. If you have a tire that leaks down 9 times out of 10, this is the issue. It's not actually a problem with the tire. So you get a wire wheel, stick it in a drill, and you can sit here and you can spin the wheel around. So we're gonna do that real quick off camera, get it nice and clean.
All right, we've got the wheel up here cleaned up. Now to get the tire on, one of the first things you can do something you can do to help yourself out is get some of this like tire paste, tire lube paste, and get like an old paintbrush. Just kind of go around the bead with it. It's probably not that necessary on these big truck tires, but on the low profiles, it's necessary. This helps it slide onto the rim and helps the head on the tire changer slide along here. Okay. Now the first side's pretty easy. You just take the tire, plop it on there. Sometimes if it's big enough, it'll just go on by itself. And then you get the head, get it inside the tire, lock it down, start to spin it, and it'll push the tire on the first one. That's the easy part.
And again, be mindful of where your TPMS is. This one we don't have to care about it.
Alright. Now for the second bead,
so what he's trying to do is he's holding this down with this arm. As you can see, the bead is right here. So he wants to go in here into this valley on this side as he stretches the bead.
that'll give you enough slack so that the tire can shift over this way and stretch over this part of the rim. There you go.
Just like that. And then they're on, tell them they're on their own for seating the bead, right, Billy?
Yeah.
Have fun with that. There are lots of videos on how to do that. The cool thing is with this, we might actually be able to do it with the machine on this one. If you step all the way on hard on the left one, it'll shoot air up. So it's like a real hard press.
There it goes.
Yeah, a lot of times I found if you take it off, set it vertical, and then try to feed air into it, it'll set the bead just like that. There it goes. If you want to listen for 2 pops, there was 1. There we go, another one. And that's how you do a tire. So, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time on Rainy Billy Garage.